If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, and so many more places. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, it's totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello again and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with RJ. If this is your first time listening, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if there is one so that you know exactly when we release brand new episodes. I've had a couple of listeners get in contact with me and let me know that they had no idea I had brand new episodes out there. And the reason is because you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you're not going to get that notification. So make sure you guys subscribe out there so you know exactly when I release those brand new episodes for you, because they're getting better each time. Today, we're going to be talking about a word that is thrown around so often out there in the universe, but it has significantly lost the impact, the value, the importance. That word is friends. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Before we get started discussing this subject, I want to ask you a question. I want you to answer this question for yourself. How many friends do you have? So I want you to ask yourself, how many friends do I have? Count them off. Think about it. You know, how many people you have at work that are your friends that you know that are your neighbors, all that. How many friends do you have? Now, in my experience, those people who truly know the value of what a friend is have very, very few friends. In fact, it's uncommon for them to be able to count on more than one hand how many true friends they have. Now, you have road dogs, you have acquaintances, you have buddies, and then you have confidants and real friends. Now, your buddies are the people that are going to have fun with you. You slap a couple of jokes. These are people you can find at work. These are people you can find at church or any other organization. You can find these people you have fun. You hang out with them from time to time. You associate with them. But outside of those general get-togethers like that, that's really it. That's really the significance of your interactions. You know, notice I'm not mentioning Facebook or any other social media out there because of the fact that you don't find real friends on social media. That's in my opinion. That's my opinion. You don't find real friends. And if you do, it's very, very, very rare to find a real friend. Because just because somebody is called friend doesn't mean that they're real friends. In my experiences, I've actually offended a number of individuals who consider me friend. And I was really grateful for that. I was very humbled and grateful that people would consider me friends. And then they would ask me, I hope you consider me a friend. And I stayed quiet and I smiled. And I was like, I really appreciate it. I try to kind of just go around it without giving a direct answer because I don't want to offend them. But one of my flaws is that if you ask me my opinion, I will give it to you. I'm very honest like that. And at first, sometimes people will find it offensive when it's not what they necessarily want to hear. But because they know it's coming from a good place and that I'm very honest, they tend to respect it. It actually gets a lot of respect and people actually do appreciate, even if they disagree with it, they know that it's coming from the right place, that it's not coming from a place of judgment or belittlement or ingratitude or anything like that. That it's my sincere felt opinion. So when like these people have asked me like, so do you consider me a friend? And I would say respectfully, I love you. You're like my brother. I appreciate you, but no, I don't consider you a friend. That word means a lot to me, and it takes a while for me to consider somebody a friend. That's not just something I just call somebody just because we get along well. No, for me, I have to know some things. Like for somebody that I consider a friend, I have to know a couple of things about their character and know the answer to these questions without a doubt. Number one, this is my standard. Number one, is this person going to tell me what I need to hear rather than what I want to hear? And they're, of course, not a yes man, but a realistic individual who is going to look out for my best interest. That's number one off the bat. Number two, does this person want to invest in my success? Not necessarily with money, but with time, with energy, by encouraging me and helping me. Like if I'm in school or something, like in college or whatnot, I'm trying to pursue a class, but I can't do it on my own. Will my friends be like, hey, let's set up a time where we can come out and I can help you study? Like, those are my friends. That's definitely something you want somebody, a friend, to do, is invest in your future and encourage you in your future. And where you fall short, they want to help you find a way to stand strong. The next one is, if I was married and I had a wife, my wife was drunk, and she was coming on to that person, and I would never have known this happened if my friend or this gentleman, this person, were sitting there alone with my wife, and my wife were just hammered drunk and hitting on him. Would he take advantage of that and do something with her, or would he immediately brush off and be like, nah, this is not happening, and then either come talk to me and let me know, hey bro, I know this is, I really hate to tell you this, but this is what happened, man. I really apologize for this. I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing happened. I promise you nothing happened. She's just drunk. It's all good. It was innocent. Like, is he going to be honest with me? And also, is he going to do the right thing, even though nobody would possibly be able to know? If I know that, I know this person has incredible integrity. And the last thing for me, for my standard, is if I had if my friend had $299 in the bank and I needed $298 of it for an emergency, and I promised to pay that person back, which he or she knows that I would, could I count on them to do that if they were able to spare it? A true friend would do all they possibly can to help you. Some of them will even do it even if it hurts themselves. But I would not ask my friends to hurt themselves in helping me. I would ask my friends to help me as much as they're able. And I never really ask for help unless I absolutely need it. That way people know that if I'm asking for help, it's because I really need it. It's not, I've tried everything else, but nothing else is working. I absolutely need their help. They know that that's my standard. That's for me. So each and every one of the very few friends that I have are people I know I can count on in these ways. I don't have to worry about, someone trying to hit on my wife if I was married, and when I'm not there. I don't have to worry about, like, I can leave money out, any amount of money. I can leave it out on the table and know that it will not be taken. They might pick it up, just out of curiosity, hey, like, whose money is this? But it will not be missing. Not a single cent will be missing from it. My friends are very trustworthy. That's why I call them friends. If I were to let's say I wanted to go out and cheat. If I wanted to go out and cheat and say, I'm so tired of my girl, I'm so tired of her, she's always riding me and blah, 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 which of course she doesn't. I have an incredible fiance. But I'm saying, if I were in a toxic relationship, or in a relationship where we're just having problems for a time, and I'm just really mad, I'm really irritated by her, and I can't stand her, and I just want to go out and I want to go meet some women and go out and just have fun and act like not a free, but like a single man again. My friends, each and every one of them would be like, dude, are you serious? And I'd be like, if I were to say like, yeah, man, I'm so tired of this relationship, they would tell me probably something to the effect of one or two things. One, they would say, look, dude, if you don't want to be with her, then you need to tell her that you don't want to be with her. And then you break it off and then you move on with your life. But don't you hurt her. She's a good woman. And if you lose that, if you mess that up, you're going to hate yourself. And you're going to really highlight that you're an idiot. And I know you are not stupid. So if you were to do something like that, dude, I'd be really disappointed in you. Like, they are that type of people. Those people are who I call my friends. And I'm very blessed to have those types of people in my life. They're the kind of people that will help me stay in line when I want to walk out of it. Everybody gets weak from time to time. Everybody has shortcomings and everybody makes mistakes. But your friends, and some of my friends actually have very different moral or religious beliefs than I do, but they're familiar with what I believe between right and wrong and my understanding of right and wrong. They're familiar with that. So, and this is in no way to like put anyone else down. This is just for me personally. I used to have a really bad mouth. I used to cuss a lot, but through miracles of God, I was able to stop, and I haven't said a curse word since 2008. And if I were to start cursing right now or any other time, my friends would look at me and go, dude, what the heck is your problem? You've never talked like this before. This is not you. Stop. And if I want to try to justify by saying I'm tired of being good, they're like, why? That's who you are. Stop trying to be something you're not. Like, they might act completely different, but they will not allow me to be a hypocrite. That's the thing. That's the key. You want friends who are going to help keep you accountable to being who you truly are. They will call you on your BS when you are sitting there and doing something that is beneath who you are because they love and respect you. Now, your friends will never ask you to do something that will get you in trouble, especially if it's not 100% necessary. Like, let's say, for example, you're sleeping in your bed and then somebody's trying to come over, someone's threatening one of your best friend's lives. They're about to be a gunfight or something like that. It's possible your friend could say, dude, I would never ask you to do this if it weren't for anything else, but there's a threat on my life. I need you to take care of my family because there's about to be a gunfight. They're going to come over here and they're going to shoot at me. I can't protect my family. I need you to take my family. Ideally, in that situation, a friend would be like, I got you, bro. And as soon as their family's over your house, you're getting in that house with him or her, whoever it is, because you're going to stand right by them and you're going to protect your friend. You know, or you go out to a club or something like that, or go out playing pool, or just go out and have a good time with your friends. And if somebody tries to start a fight with them, you know, you either try to establish peace or let them fight one-on-one and, you know, just kind of watch their back to make sure nobody jumps in and tries to assault them together. Because if they do, that's when you would jump in and be like, nah, you're not doing this. You're not going to hurt my friend like this. And I'm telling you, you don't have to be a great fighter to defend your friend. I've seen males and females that could not fight, but they had their friends back. It was actually kind of funny, in my opinion, how some of them just jumped on, like seeing women who were like 4 foot tall jump on like a 6 foot tall guy's back and just start hitting him in the head with a 5-inch stiletto heel. And I was like, are you serious? Go on, girl, that's right. Because she was probably afraid, but she didn't care. She's like, nope, you're not going to beat my boyfriend up, or you're not going to beat my best friend up. You're not going to hurt him, or you're not going to hurt her. But the fact is, they had each other's back. That's the message. It doesn't matter if you win or not. The fact is that your friends are there for you. They have your back. You know, they might sit there and fight, but they're not going to let you get stomped out. They will try to stop the fight. If you're losing, you get your butt whipped and stuff like that, especially if you open your mouth and you had it coming. They might let you take a couple licks because you had that coming, but then they're going to stop the fight and be like, hey, that's enough. Monty's had enough, or she's had enough. Let's go. We need to take her home, or him home. So once everything's done and you wake up, they're going to get mad and then they're going to chastise you. Well, you know what? Of course I didn't stop the fight when you got punched in the mouth first. You shouldn't have walked in there and started saying all the stupid stuff you were saying. You brought that attention to yourself. Did they have a right to punch you? No, they didn't. But you can't sit there and say you didn't have that coming. You want to open your mouth and act all grown and act invincible? Well, somebody's going to show you that you're not as grown as you think you are, and you are quite vulnerable. So a true friend will let you get what you need to become the best version of yourself. Sometimes that's tough love. Sometimes you're not going to always, get everything you want from a friendship, but true friends will always give you the best of themselves to really help you. They will invest in you. They will invest together in that friendship. They will invest time with you. And you can be one of those people that have tons of people you think are friends, but the fact still remains that you can't be there a lot for every one of your friends. It's nearly impossible unless all your friends are always in the same places. But the fact is that I have few friends by choice because I would rather be there a lot for fewer people than rarely ever be there for a lot. I have many acquaintances, which are people with whom I associate, talk, say hi, share good messages, do nice things for, and just interact with on a nicely and fun basis. Those are my acquaintances. They're not people that I necessarily trust, but they're people who we're on good terms. We talk often, we pass each other often, or we associate often. This could be a person, like if you walk all the time on the street, it could be a person that you see at a bus stop or on the corner in the same place or in the same general area. It's a familiar face. It's an acquaintance. That's the magnitude of your relationship. This is a familiar face, whether it be a work associate or somebody you pass by when you walk. That's an acquaintance. A buddy, is somebody that's more than a familiar face. It's a person that you associate with. You may have gone out and got a couple of drinks or spent some time with them or whatnot. That's a buddy. This is somebody that, you guys are close. You guys are close. You guys are always talking together and having a good time. You guys hang out from time to time. A friend is the things that I described earlier, and that's also your confidant. Now, your confidant can be your significant other, which your significant other should also be your friend. If your significant other doesn't feel like they're your best friend, you may want to rethink the nature of your relationship with that individual. Because a healthy relationship should not feel forced. Like, you should not feel obligated to make your significant other your best friend, because friendships they're not something you force. They're something that just naturally grow into that. Of course, it takes work and investment. You do have to sacrifice some level of time. You don't necessarily have to sacrifice money, because you don't need to spend money to have a good time. Sometimes you could just sit there and make a couple of sandwiches. You guys go out and have fun at the beach, or just, hey, you know what? Why don't you go get the drinks? Or, I'm going to bring some bottles of water or something, or we're just going to hang out and just walk. Like, there's things you can do without money at all, or very little money, So building a friendship doesn't necessarily take an investment of money, but it takes an investment of something more precious than money, which is time. Friendships require love. The greatest expression of love is to sacrifice part of your life, if not the entire part of your life. When I say the entire part of your life, I'm not saying dedicate every part of yourself to your friendship, because, you can't possibly do that and have a healthy marriage or family. You need to dedicate the proper amounts of time in different places. What I mean is, if you're called to give your life, to sacrifice your life to save the life of one of your friends, that's what I mean in that specific sense. Now, when I'm talking about sacrificing some level of time, you have, maybe whether it be a text message or a phone call or just going out to hang out, that's sacrificing time, because you could be using that time somewhere else. You could be going out to your favorite place, watching your favorite movie, going to eat your favorite meal. You can be going out with your girl or your man or whoever you want to be with. You could be going and doing something else, but rather than going and do something else, you're choosing to spend time with your friend to make sure your friendship stays ignited, to stay fresh, stay strong. Just like with a relationship, if you spend so much time working, your romance is going to end very quickly. You need to balance those things. You need to make sure you're investing the adequate amount of time to keep the relationship healthy, fresh, and keep that fire of love ignited, whether that be a friendly love or a romantic love. So if you have a friend, you need that required sacrificial time to show them that that's important. Now, if you are dating somebody and they don't feel like a friend, maybe you're in the relationship for the wrong reasons. Maybe it's because this person's so beautiful or so hot or sexy, or the physical intimacy of the relationship is just mind-blowing. That doesn't matter in the long run. You don't fall in love with that. That is a byproduct of love. But if that is your delusion of believing that that's love, you're going to find out really quick that you're with someone you don't even know. And possibly you're with somebody you don't even like. But the interesting and very pleasant part is that if you get to know somebody and you spend and invest time with them, and it naturally feels like you're with your best friend or with a dear friend, then you're going to find that you were with the right person for the right reasons. So if your significant other feels like a true friend, if not your best friend, you're with the right person. Honestly, that's who your significant other should feel like naturally. You should not tell your significant other that they are your best friend just to make them happy, because you're only lying to yourself. And if you got to lie to yourself to make the other person happy, again, you're with the wrong person. Don't worry about lying. If you have to lie to somebody and make them happy, you're with the wrong person. You should always be able to be honest. They will at first, honesty sometimes kind of hurts because they're not used to hearing it. There's so many liars out there in the world. People are, accustomed to hearing lies rather than hearing the truth. But when they know you love and care about them, you can be honest with them and they will start to respect your opinion. They will actually start to see that your opinion is coming from honesty. Like, hey, you know what? Like, you're telling your significant other, you know what? I love you. You're an incredible person, but your shoes don't look good on your feet. They're not flattering to you. They make your feet look bigger than they actually are, or that shirt doesn't really hug your figure very nicely, if that's what you're going for. Like, you can wear it. You're the one that wears it. My suggestion is that you change it to a you know, a smaller or larger size or a different color, because it doesn't flatter your skin tone, or it doesn't flatter your the rest of your outfit, or it's really puffy. It just makes you look like you're larger than you are. Like, there's different things you can say to be honest and look out for your partner, because if you're, especially if your opinion is very accurate, they will listen to you and go, what do you think? How do you think I look? And then they'll actually want to listen to what you're saying. Sometimes they might say, you know what, I appreciate that, but I disagree. I think this shirt looks good. I'm like, okay. And you're good. And you go on with that. Just accept that. She respects your opinion. You respect hers, and you go out there and have a good time. And then when she sees her friends, it's possible that her friends are gonna be like, girl, why are you wearing that shirt? What the heck are you thinking? That shirt looks ugly. Are you serious? I like it. Nah, girl, it looks ugly. That looks like you got that from the bottom of a trash can. Like, why are you wearing that? And then she'll laugh and say, you know what, my fiance or my significant other said the same thing. It's funny. I should have listened to him. Now your opinion actually holds more water. She'll trust your opinion a little bit more. It happens. Everyone's different, but I'm saying being honest actually puts a lot of value into your opinion, especially if it's coming from the right angle, the right tone. If you're coming from a place of judgment, your opinion is going to get thrown out the window just about every time. So don't tell your significant other that they are your best friend just to please them, just to make them happy, or just to get in their panties, because that's not a wise idea. Because there are consequences for lying. They will be able to see that you're lying. At some point, you're going to drop your guard, and it's going to show very clearly they are not your best friend. If someone really is your best friend, you don't have to convince them. It shows, because you enjoy being with them. You enjoy spending time with them. So your significant other or your best friend should be your confidant. And what it means to have a confidant is somebody you could be vulnerable with, or with whom you can be vulnerable. Somebody that you can let your guard down 100% and just open up. For most of us macho guys, you know, out there, we're raised to believe and see that men don't cry. Men are supposed to be tough. You know, we're supposed to be like that. That's kind of the society that we've been raised in often. So a confidant is somebody you can cry in front of and not feel emasculated, or not feel like you're less of a person. You know, it's like if you have a significant other and you're a girl, you know, you're out there crying, you should not feel like you're a crybaby. You should feel safe to cry. And for those macho guys out there who are tough out there in the front, you should feel safe to be able to cry as well without feeling like less of a man. There's nothing wrong with crying about pain, emotional pain. There's nothing wrong with that. Whining, on the other hand, is a big difference. Like, when you whine because you don't get your way, or you're whining because you don't like something, yeah, that's over the top. That's too much. You need to woman up or man up, or whatever the case may be. Just grow a pair and stand up and stop being such a baby about things. You're not going to always get your way. Suck it up, move forward. But if you're crying because it was just really hard, the day was really hard, or you lost a loved one, or you lost a job that you thought you were going to get promoted, or it just really wasn't fair because you know you were the best employee at this job and someone else who just started doesn't even care about you, got a promotion over you, let alone you were training this person and they got promoted over you. Yeah, I can understand the tears for that frustration tears. That's okay. You know, you're not whining, you're mad at something and you're letting that out. You should be able to vent to your partner without feeling emasculated or like you're less of a woman. There's nothing wrong with crying when you're in pain or you're stressed out. That confidant is supposed to be there and not criminalize you or villainize you for feeling that way. A confidant will never villainize you for how you feel. A confidant will have your back and be there for you, give you the best advice they possibly can, and be your road dog, be there for you no matter what. Ride it till the wheels fall off, as they say. That would be your Bonnie or your Clyde. And for those of you who don't know who they are, they died. They were a massive love story. And without getting into the whole entire story, essentially they were bank robbers, but the fact is they had such a deep love for each other. They would go in there guns blazing and rob so many banks, and then they came out. The thing that made them so popular was not so much that they were bank robbers, but that they were just so in love with each other, had such a deep compassion for each other. And when they died, they were shot by a bunch of different cops, and they died like together. They stayed together. They didn't run from each other. They had each other's back to the end. So after everything's been said and done, I ask you to ask yourself again, how many friends do I have? If your number has changed, it's possible that maybe you now understand what a friend is. Maybe you should stop throwing that word around. If your number hasn't changed, you might want to start the episode over again. Unless you have very few friends and you know the value of a true friend. A true friend is somebody you can call up at 3:30 in the morning and they have to get up at 5 and they will drive however long it takes to come save you and pull you out of the mud, or figure out a way to get you pulled out of the mud. A true friend is someone you know that if you call them, they will be there for you. Don't underestimate what a real friend is, and don't just give that title to anybody. That's a title of honor, and it's a title of significance. Remember, don't force your relationship to be something that it's not. If your significant other is not your best friend, that's okay. Just acknowledge that. Don't lie to them and tell them that they are. Because essentially in the end, you're going to regret that lie, because the truth will come out. And those words will be thrown around. Well, I thought you said I was your best friend. And then you're going to be caught right there between a rock and a hard spot. You're going to have to admit the truth. Well, you're really not, but this person is my best friend. It's best just to be honest about that. And don't just give that title to somebody just because you're dating them. It's okay to call your significant other your friend if they do feel like that. But if they don't feel like that, again, they don't feel like you're a friend, maybe you're with the wrong person. Or maybe you need to rethink your relationship. Just because two people love each other and really like each other or really want to be with each other doesn't mean they're right for each other. I'm telling you, far too many people are spending decades with each other and finding out that they married the wrong person because they weren't paying attention to the flags that were right there in their face. If somebody, it doesn't matter how hot and sexy somebody is or how good in bed they are, if they don't feel like they're your best friend or a really dear friend, then that's not the right person for you. That's just my opinion. Thank you so much for spending time once again with Real Talk with RJ. Signing out.